this is the stone floor.
This is the stone floor, so this is the stone, and so this is the top stone, the bed stone and the floating stone, and you can see the shoe I was talking about. There's no grain in there at the moment, but what happens is the grain comes from the hopper,
Okay.
fed from upstairs. So when you go upstairs, you'll see the bin floor.
Yeah.
So it gets fed through here, and it comes out on the shoe.
Okay. The shoe being that wooden chute.
The shoe is, yeah. I mean, normally we don't go through. But I'll just very quickly show you. Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens is this is the quant, square sectioned.
Yeah.
And what happens is that shoe bounces as it turns. This engages into the glut box.
Yeah.
So when it's running, that is engaged in there. That winds in, locks it in place.
Mm-hmm.
The teeth obviously engage into the brake wheel. And then, so then when you've got the rotary motion, obviously the sweeps, turns the wind shaft turns the brake wheel,
Yep.
this big wheel, and then the teeth engage in the quant, and then the quant drives the stone.
Mm-hmm.
So the stone will rotate at that point. So this is the other end of the rope I showed you just now.
Yep.
So you can see as you pull on it, it lifts it up. So as that gets pulled from below, it lifts the shoe up.
Yep.
And that will slow the rate at which the grain goes into the centre of the stone.
Right.
If you want more grain to go in, because you want it a little bit coarser, you twist peg, lowers it down,
Yep.
and you get more grain going in. And then what happens is the flour comes here, and in fact, if you can just see there's a little brush, and all that does is sweep. As the stone turns, it sweeps the flour, and about here inside the furniture, there's a hole. Flour goes down under gravity down to the spout floor.
Amazing.
So yeah, there's a couple of this is where the camera sort of 18th century or 17th century camera.
Yep.
A couple of other features here. At the moment, for safety, we keep it locked off.
Yep.
That's to stop it turning if it was very windy and we weren't here.
Right.
So that's our safety feature, and,
Yep.
and this is the brake here. So this is again locked off, but you can stop the mill by applying the brake, and it's just like a car with a brake shoe. It's just a lot bigger.
So the brake it's pressed vertically, is it?
It is, yes. So what you do is, you apply it. You can sit on it,
Yeah.
but you can also use the ropes.
Just to tie
to
it in.
release it, you just pull the rope up and it releases it.
Yeah.
Off it goes clockwise. And if you need to stop it, in emergency, or you just want to stop it, then you just drop the rope, latch on, drop it down, and then if you really want to stop it, you can sit on it and it'll put it in. But like a car doing an emergency stop, if you apply the brake because you've got
Too hard. I was going to say it'll just click into place and it'll just snap
two or
off.
3 tons worth of momentum going on here.
Yeah.
You need to do it slowly.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, the mill will be doing this. You will cause it to rock, and it's just like an emergency stopping the car if you do it wrong.
Yeah.
So you got to bear in mind the mill doesn't like it.
Yeah.
She doesn't like being messed around that much.
Does she have a name?
She, Oldland. I don't know. Actually, I never thought of that. That's a good one. So what else on this floor? Obviously, there's the bell. And this is the miller's, because quite often in the old days it would have been a miller here. He might have had an apprentice miller if he was lucky, or it was the apprentice doing the job and the miller was out in the field tending his grain for his harvest or something. So he'd rely on usually a boy, but I suppose it could be a girl now. And all that happens is as the grain runs out, there's a strop in here with you can see the top of the strop, leather strop. And that's held down by the weight of the grain, and as it's released, this bell sounds, but will keep knocking against that will then fall forward and keeps knocking against the quant and go ting, ting, ting. And actually, it can be noisy in here, but you can hear that downstairs. So if you're downstairs, you'll be running up, going, all right, open up that valve up there, let some more grain through. I mean, if you were running it, you could probably have that open, so as this fills up, is feeding in here, but actually you wouldn't want that overfilling either. So this is the temporary store. Once it gets a bit lower, then the miller will come up and they probably, if they're just checking stuff, open up the valve, let a bit more grain in.
Yeah.
But also sometimes if we wanted to change the grain, then the miller might have a different requirement. Like we said downstairs, you might have a Zayat, or you might want to do a Crusoe or a Red Lammas.
Yeah.
And so one particular, so you'd have to empty that into a bag, load up the next lot, and then process that. So you wouldn't want too much down here sometimes. And sometimes, because you're processing one type of grain, you've got this batch in the middle, which is sort of half of one and half of another. And quite often the volunteers take that for their own needs. We don't sell that because we're not sure
What it is.
It's a blended.
Yep.
It's a blended flour, which actually for some people is probably fine, but there are some purists, and there are some of the bakers want a particular type of grain into flour. So that, I mean, in a way, it's a simple but complex machine.
Yeah.
The actual process is quite simple when you get up and running. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, it is a dangerous machine. Normally, we wouldn't be standing this close. If this brake wheel was going, you break your arm, take your arm off. If the sweeps are going, you walk underneath it, it could take your head off, literally. So you've got to have some very, very strict safety procedures. And normally, so we'd actually cover it up because it actually can get quite dusty. So we've actually got a cover, and then that normally just sits. That sits in there, and then we cover it with a cloth, and so we keep the dust within the.
Yeah.
And you can see a little bit of green dust on there, but just for show today.
Yeah.
We set the height of the stone, from below, but sometimes we have to clean. We hoover, obviously. When we first start.
That much dust also is an explosive danger, isn't it? If you have too much of
yes.
that.
Yes, you probably heard of that. There's not in flour, but obviously
silos exploding when there's too much dust.
Yeah, and also because you can have an electrical spark, you can get that fine dust in the air, and that causes a secondary explosion. So you can. So yeah, we do keep it clean, and sometimes you get insects. It's an open environment, so we've got a fly zapper, which is our modern contraption, which they wouldn't have had. But so you sometimes get flies dropping in here, so you don't want that. And we do filter, but filter the final flour before we put it in bags. So we haven't hoovered out today, but it's just to show the sort of dust that is produced.
How often is this whole thing emptied and cleaned?
We haven't had to do it for a while actually. Sometimes when it's been damp, if you haven't ground for a while, the flour inside actually starts to go hard, so it goes like cement. So you actually have to ground it because it's effectively got the grooves in the stones, which do the cutting. So that will actually clog up, and because of that, it'll just grind. If you excuse the pun, it will grind to a halt. So it will literally, that's probably where it comes from actually. So it will literally, you won't be able to force anything through it. You'll suddenly get and we have had that before. It's quite a complex process. You've got to take all of this furniture off, the wood, the furniture. You've got to get little wedges. In fact, a new process where we try and lift the stone up using a lever approach. But normally we just wedge. Another wedge, another wedge, another wedge, and keep moving up so you get enough gap to actually get in with some implements to clean it, and physically. But I had to do it once in 6 years. But
What do they use to clean it?
just tools like little chisels.
Okay. So
But if you had to redress
products.
over there, there's the actual cutting tool. So there's a millwright would actually cut the grooves. I'll have a look in a minute. But there's the actual tool for, I forgot what it's called off the top of my head, and it actually has a blade, and that's used for cutting the groove at a particular pattern.
Thank you.
So it's important for getting the right sort of cut.
Yeah.
So that's in a nutshell. But if you want to pop up to the bin floor, you can have a look, see where the grains go up. If you mind your head and go through to the back.
Yeah.
And you go up
Out of the
and
way. If we go in there, we'll be out of the
Claire, I
big
don't know who
one.
was on there. Claire might
Go
have
in
been up
there.
there. we can go towards some
It's the bin floor. Okay.
Bin floor,
Okay.
which is where they store the grain.
Amazing.
We push it up to the top and then it falls down under gravity to here.
Amazing. I will go and have a
Yeah,
look.
if we've got any other questions on the way down, then
Brilliant.
give me a shout.
Thank you very much.
No problem. That's
Appreciate
all right.
it.
That's good. All right.
Yeah, sorry, where's the start of your talk then?
Yeah, sure.
Mind your head on that iron.
Well, the fabric
Okay, it just hit me head, and up we go. I hope you've enjoyed part 4. Click the like button, share and subscribe, and tell me in the comments what you think of the content and if you have any ideas for improving it, and we'll see you in part 5.